welcome to another episode of BLTNT. This is Amanda on Fluke Domination.
And this is Ali, your bestest bestie.
Yes, so welcome back to another episode. Not too much housekeeping today. Oh, wait, actually, yes, because a new show, well, it's not really new, because it came out a week ago. For the Thai audience, but it's just being available now for international audiences, and that's Gameplay's new show. It is called Love with Benefits. It's on their YouTube channel now. So in the morning, as of like before we recorded the podcast, the subs were out of sync, but they have since fixed them. So now going forward, they should be good to go for hopefully later episodes so they don't have this problem again. But it's now up if you want to see that show. It's Gameplay, Folk, and Best. Best was recently in the Checked Out special. So he's still going to do a series with, oh my God. Chub. But he's gonna do
the guy with the hot body.
Yeah.
I think he's proud of it, so
he is very proud of it. So he's still gonna be in that series. This one's gonna be a short series. I'm not sure how many episodes it's gonna be, but it's gonna be pretty short. And yeah, so that's ready to go. That's going to come out every Wednesdays on their YouTube channel. So that's it for show. Oh wait, no. Pig with Love is coming out, I think, next week on the 26th. That's going to be on Gagulawa. And they had another show that was supposed to come out, but I don't know. There was an issue, and I don't know when that's coming out. It was Nat show about the coffee shop. Don't know when that's going to happen again. He got replaced, or they replaced him, or he dropped out of the project. I don't know. But that happened. So I don't know when that show is going to premiere, because I know I previously said that it was already going to be out. But that has obviously been not going to happen. And then Boon Prem's mini episodes are on Wabi Sabi. It's like between us, kind of like cute little special moments.
I figured out what they are. You remember, sorry to cut in, but I was trying to figure out what the hell those scenes were, because they were just extra as hell. The first episode, for anyone who's not watched it and for those who have watched it, I was confused, but I figured it out. Lazy Sheep, that's the writer for the book, right? Remember, like, because they weren't able to film it for so long, all of last year into this year, they were tweeting like short story snippets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're the story snippets.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. I was like, this is so cool, because I was like, what is this that I'm watching? And I was like, because I only watched the first and I haven't watched the second one as yet. And then I remembered, oh, these are the tweets. They took the tweets and they made them into this mini thing to kind of tide everybody over with, which I absolutely adore, because we have been waiting on this for a while, and I feel like it's confirmation that it's really going to happen.
Yeah, so everyone, I mean, it's cute, it's not, and like Boone says, like in the beginning of the show, it's not anything like very seriously, there's no plot.
Yeah, because Team is annoying as hell. He's getting out. You got on my nerves, child.
It's just a cute like little thing that they wanted to do, which I think is really nice that they decided that they would film this in between to kind of give to the fans. So I really appreciate it. You can. It is free. Like I think like after a while on their YouTube channel, you can of course pay for the subscription or to join their channel if you can't wait, but there is an option for you available to wait I would just wait, to be honest with you, because it's like it's just cute kind of fillery episodes, but they're definitely adorable. So check that out as well. It's on the Wabi Sabi YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and check that out. I think that was it.
Bite Me is officially finished. My Sweet Dear is officially finished. Baker Boys starts, which is it says it's a non-BL, but if you know Baker Boys, the history of Baker Boys, Japan did it, Korea did it, now Thailand's doing it. There is a gay character in the show itself, like in the overall story. Singto will be playing the gay character in the Thai version, right?
Yeah.
So they say it's a non-BL, which okay, fine. The original Baker Boys, his story was never a major thing in it anyway, so I get it. But because we love our boys, if you want to support it, even though it's a non-BL, I want us to root for Singto. I think this was his last official thing with GMMTV.
Yes.
It starts on the 24th or 25th of my birthday. The 25th of November. So whatever time zone you're in, you can just check that out.
Oh right. Oh yeah. And I think I saw the trailer. I like the trailer. It's funny. It was it's gonna be an interesting mix of show, to be honest. There's a little bit of like romance, there's a little bit of like mystery. It's gonna be an interesting show, I think. So Penguin Love is coming out. Oh, they're coming out like almost like a day apart from each other. That's kind of funny. I guess Baker Boys is coming out on the 25th, and then Paint with Love is coming out on the 26th. And Paint with Love is going to be on Gaga Ulala.
I was so disappointed when I found out it was going to be on Gaga Ulala, to be honest. I thought it was gonna be on a different platform. Gaga Ulala has really been stepping it up. Like they're getting their hands on a lot.
They are.
I mean, as reserved about them as I am, because it is a platform for gay men by gay men. I don't feel like it's a platform for women. I'm sorry. It's just how I feel. I don't feel like it's a place where it doesn't feel very welcoming to females. So, but there's nothing wrong with that. Like you build a platform that you want for your people, like, if that's your intent. I just, I had reservations about it, but they've always been pretty good when the shows to come out. The show comes out, English subtitles are ready, quality's up. The quality is up there. So yeah, it's just my thing with Gaga Ulala is that everything's behind a paywall. So for people who wouldn't necessarily be able to afford to pay, they might miss this show, but that's okay. You won't get to see everything, and they don't have a platform set up like what Mandy does, where they put them on these paid platforms and then 6 months down the line or a year down the line they release them like on Line TV or YouTube or something.
Yeah,
they don't really have that set up, and I feel like when you have a setup like that, you're gonna force people to pirate. It sounds very bad to say, and I'm not picking up for piracy, it's just the truth. Even Viki has a freemium to premium setup. Like higher quality viewing, you have to pay for it. To view early, you have to pay for the subscription. They don't have that. The first episode is free, and after that's a paywall. So I feel like it forces piracy. And you lose a lot of customers that way. That's just my beef. But Gaga Ulala, not beef, but Gaga Ulala is a good platform regardless of that. So we will be watching and we will be supporting.
Yes. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, they do have a new Japanese BL on there as well, called My Beautiful Man, that came out on the 19th. So if you want to check that out, that's there as well.
That's
also,
the one that I see everyone always talking about online with the crazy ass Japanese dude.
There's a bunch.
Well, I mean, wow, that was an uber specific description, though. No, I mean, there's this one that I keep seeing on the timeline with this dude with this sweater.
Oh no, you're thinking about another one.
Oh, okay.
Not the same one. Sorry. What was I doing? Sorry. Yeah, so that one's already out. And then they also have A Man Who Defies the World of BL. That one was a really popular one. That one just came on Gagulala as well.
It's on WeTV if you already have a WeTV.
Right. Also, they do have a new GL. It's called The Fragrance of the First Flower. That's really good. I'm enjoying it immensely. It's for the ladies. So they have a couple of good shows on the platform now. Like before, they didn't they just had like a bunch of random stuff. Sometimes I felt, but now they're they're getting better. So I think that's it for House TV. I want to say that's it. I don't know. I can't think of anything else at the moment. But we're just gonna go ahead and get started.
Right. Okay. So this is one thing that I'm really excited for. And this is something that we've had on our agenda for the longest while. And we like a topic, like a segment topic, but we've never actually utilized it. And for the first, or maybe the second, the first official time today, we will be utilizing it. The tea of the week. Because I didn't even know that this was an issue until people started posting about it. I'm like, well, you never really know things are an issue until someone posts about it. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, who knew that Mike and Top Top were beefing? Did you know?
I had kind of heard rumbles, if I'm being honest, but I honestly didn't know. So I had heard about it, and there was a live that they had shown on it was a little bit of a translated live, and they were asking him about Mike, and then Top Tap kind of just didn't say anything else. He's like, oh, I don't want to talk about him.
Okay.
And then people were like, well, why? Because it didn't cause it hadn't made sense, right? Because they used to do TikToks together. It was him, Mike, and Goji and Mama Goji that would hang out all the time.
Is Goji or Gachi?
Goji?
Gachi?
Gachi.
Her. It's okay, her.
You know what I mean? They would hang out all the time and just be around each other, and they always, they were, looked like they were having a good time, right?
Bosom buddies, yeah.
Yeah, and so and the problem is, it's not really a problem, I guess, and everybody has a right to their own lives. It was just kind of weird to me that all of a sudden they just stopped talking, and it got announced actually that before this happened, they were actually gonna headline their own series finally. They were slated to they were gonna be their own main leads in a BL that GMM TV was gonna make, because
I can't see it. I can't see that, sorry.
Because they had been a side, they have been a side couple for a while.
Side pieces?
Yeah, side pieces for a while. And I like Mike and Top Tap, but I didn't not as a ship, if that makes not as a ship.
They're bros.
Yeah, exactly. Because I saw them as just bros, and that's and that's how I see their relationship. It's that they're bros. They well, this is before the fight or whatever happened. They enjoy each other's company. They like hanging out. They go to work and they have good chemistry, but that's it. That's where it ends. And they do fun things together. They do TikTok dances, and then and then they go home or whatever, which is fun. Not everyone needs to have romantic feelings towards their partner or whatever, right?
Not romantic feelings, but yeah, okay, I'm gonna let you finish. Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
you know, so not everybody needs to do that, and that's fine, you know, that I enjoyed, you know, seeing their interactions. And then all of a sudden, for them not to talk to each other, and then like Mike unfollowed Top Tap on all his socials, and then Goji followed the same way, like she unfollowed him too, and so like no one knows what the spite is about, and so like they had
they should keep it that way. Mm-hmm.
And so they did. So as you know, that Together had a movie, like it was a very big movie, right? And they were all doing promotions for said movie. Like Drake was there. Frank obviously couldn't be there because he.
We don't talk about him.
We're not gonna talk about how he was how he got drafted to the military. Like it's okay.
He's dead to us.
Okay, sure. But yeah, so he wasn't there. So
we're mourning him right now.
So it was, you know, Win, Bright, Drake, and Mike
the whole
and
team.
Yeah, the whole team basically. But just people were starting to notice that like Mike and Top Tap were not talking to each other. Like unless they had to answer like interview questions, they didn't say a word to each other. They didn't even want to they didn't even look like they wanted to be in the same room together. And so like there was this one like little video I saw of the event, and so they were like taking pictures. So they were taking like the couple, like the CP pictures. And obviously like, you know, yeah, so it was like Win and Bright, and then Mike and Top Tap were like taking pictures, or were trying to take pictures. And so like people were, and I think people took this the wrong way, because people were like, oh, you're making them do fan service. Like, no, they're just like, we're too far apart to take a good picture. So right. like the photographer was like, get closer, but I don't think it meant like, you know, do anything else. It just meant like get in frame with each other, right? And so they had to like, she had to tell them like 3 times. And so it was just a little awkward, obviously. And then there was an interview that was like Drake, Top Tap, and Mike. And like,
yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, and so you could tell, like you just tell Top Tap didn't want to stand near Mike at all, but like, you know, he was in the middle, and so he would try to like stand a little bit closer to Drake. And we're like, and it was just weird. It was just weird to me. Like the whole situation was just like odd, you know?
We caught a vibe. He did not pass the vibe check.
Right? And so like, and so even when they were doing like the promotions, telling people to like go to watch the movie, and they were like just like sitting like next to each other, it's just, you just felt something was just like they did not want to be there with each other. So so of course, like in like, and as Ali said, like, you know, we don't need to know. It was just very odd. And I know stuff that happens in the entertainment industry all the time, right? Like, you know, they go with different pairs. They, you know, they stop working together. Doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't like each other, or that they, you know, didn't, you know, it just happens.
Right. I'm glad you bring that up, because here's the thing. Let me just reiterate this fact. Whatever happened, the fact that no one knows, aside from a few unfollows, and I obviously don't want to be here attituding interviews. Nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows the tea. Love that for them. We need to understand, not we, I don't include myself in this. Fans, because I get like, fans need to understand that not everything, like, you're not privy to these people's personal lives. And as long as the camera is not pointing at them, they're off work hours. These people are working. Them interacting on social media whenever there's a series coming up, this, that, and the third, they're working. Yeah? They're working. They're on the clock. They're getting paid. If you see them posting a bunch of pictures with a bunch of them, and you're not aware of a project or something coming out or anything like that, best believe one is on the way, or it was a company trip or something. These people are on the clock. a lot of people, and I'm gonna use K-pop groups as this example. You want to know why a lot of K-pop groups right now and in recent years, it's always come out that after, like, especially after the 7-year prison contract, because that's a thing in K-pop, when the members are free and they can speak freely and stuff like that, it comes out that one specific member was a bully or something, but at the height of their career, going into the height and exiting, you would have never known because they would have all appeared close. Guys, sorry, not to sound too preachy, but these people are working. They're co-workers. They are not friends in real life. So yes, even if, like, let's say Top and Mike and all of them, they had their issue or they had an argument or they had a falling out or whatever. Let's say that's not the case. Together the movie was the last project with them as a coupled pairing, right? They needed to promote up until that point. Okay? With that said, they did what they were paid to do. Top is probably just sick and tired of it. Mike is probably not his in real life friend, or they're none of each other's in real life friends. They're just co-workers. Contract is finished. I'm tired of pretending. Like, can we hurry up and get this over? I want to go home. I want to move on and do something else. Top has been doing this since he was in, was it Lovesick? No, I think it was something else. Was it Lovesick? I think it was Lovesick.
He's been around for a while.
He's been in this for a minute. So I, like, from my point of view, I just think he's tired. Like, I've been seeing him try to do different stuff. Like, Top's popularity is something that he built on his own. Like, GMMTV will never be able to claim that. He did his thing himself. He has fans. Like, it's very rare that background characters, that people who just play side characters have the level of popularity that Top and Gun Top. That's because Gun Top is the other GMMTV guy, right? Gunsmile, sorry, yeah, Gunsmile have. It's unheard of. It's unprecedented. These guys have been around and they built themselves up. So, like, from me, when I watched the interview with Drake, Mike, and Top, I just think he looked very tired. Like, he just wanted to be out of there. I didn't know about the previous situations before, but he just looked like he wanted it to be over. Like, are we done? Like, have you gotten enough answers to the questions? You guys keep asking us the same thing. I'm bored. I'm tired. I want to go home and dress up as an anime character. I'm tired. I'm sick. Because I've been seeing him doing and branching off into a lot of different things. He's been hanging out with people who aren't GMMTV centered a lot. The man's wants to do himself now. Like, they have no contractual obligation to each other anymore. And typically when that happens, people unfollow each other, the interaction decreases. And I know it's a hard thing to think of as being a possibility, like, oh, you've worked that closely with people for years and you guys seriously aren't friends. Girls' Generation, perfect example. The company kicked Jessica out with no warning because she wanted to start a business, and none of those girls stood up for her, even though they haven't had enough power to. They don't speak. She doesn't speak on them. And Girls' Generation was together for 2007, 2008, 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 8-9 years. Well, they were training with each other from before, so actually it's like 10-12 years, between 10 to 12 years. These girls knew each other and they did not like each other. Think about it. With so many different personalities, you feel like everybody really like each other? That one always throws me for a loop. You genuinely believe that all of these people like each other?
Yeah, actually, you bring up a good point. I mean, because, like,
no, I was pausing for dramatic effect.
Oh.
But yeah, what are you saying? I bring up a good point.
Oh, yeah.
You were saying I bring up a good point because
yes, you do bring up a good point because, like, it's like, I know me and Ali, we always say that BL Thailand is very small, right? But, like, that doesn't mean like everybody gets along, and there's been a lot of times where you've seen people publicly fall out. and it's not pretty and it's messy, you know? Like, I'm also surprised that they're very contained to being real.
Like, I would like to know about the things that happen behind closed door, because you cannot convince me that with all of that testosterone floating around, those boys have not gotten into fist fights. You can't convince me. You could, even if the true God comes before me and tells me that it didn't happen, I probably wouldn't believe it. You can't tell me that they've never gotten into fist fights, never kicked each other's ass. You see sometimes when I'm watching these shows and I see them fighting, like, you know, when the gangs are fighting in these shows, some of them really do hit each other. And do you guys pay attention to these things? They actually hit each other, you know. They're not faking, you know. They will sneak one in there. Do y'all, like, I always have to wonder, do people pay attention? Like, really? These dudes, sometimes most of them don't like each other. Bro.
Sometimes I think I could tell, but like, I don't know. Because you don't want to like just assume, but like, sometimes I think I could tell, like, oh, they really don't.
I love the ones especially who just can't hide it. Like, like Bright. You can always know when Bright don't like somebody.
Oh my God.
He hides nothing.
It's great. It's funny.
And I'm like, yes, baby, give me the drama. I live for it.
It's just like, I just like, honestly, like, I'm not a Bright Winston, but like, just
neither am I, but like, he's an honest person and I have mad respect for him for that.
Yeah, I can respect him for that, because he really is not, he doesn't bullshit, and he's just like, and he just kind of like shows up, does what he needs to do, and then goes and just leaves and like doesn't care, like doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm. But like to sum up everything that I'm saying, like, even if it's possible that they did have a physical altercation or an argument or something, the possibility that one or the two of them are just tired and they're not in real life fans and they're just fulfilling contractual obligations and just moving on to something else, I feel would be more like Top Top's case, because Mike is a whole lot newer than Top Top. Technically Mike has been around, but not as long as Top Top. They just move on. Like, it is what it is. It doesn't even have to involve beef. Like, some of these people are genuinely just not friends, and that's okay, guys. We won't be friends with everybody in the world, and everybody won't want to be our friends. So, you know, it is what it is. I was really surprised when I saw people saying that. Mana put me on to the before, because I was wondering where all of this came from. But like, when I saw that one video, I was like, this is just delusional, because it could have just been an off day. But if it's been happening for a while, dude's probably just tired, or they really did get into something.
We'll never know, really.
We'll never know, exactly. And do we really want to know, though? I'd like to know.
I mean, kind of. Okay, because like, yeah, I kind of do want to know, because it's like, oh my God, please don't.
I mean, I'll respect your privacy, but I am also still very nosy. And if you choose to put your business out there, I will elect to listen. Like,
you know what I'm surprised about? Or maybe not really that surprised, but like, I'm just waiting for somebody, like one of these boys, to like write a tell-all book. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, I choked on my water. Me too. I need one of these boys to really, really, really spill the tea. You want to know who I want it to come from too?
Who?
Somebody who's been in this forever. Like a Fluke.
Oh, yeah.
I feel Gun would have stories to tell. Because he don't have no manners, you know. Gun don't have nothing but him, you know. Gun don't have no manners. I feel like he would, if he decides to write a tell-all book, he will air everybody out. Mew would write a really good tell-all book. Ooh. You cannot tell me, and this is not something to sensationalize, but you cannot tell me that man has not been through hell and back in this BL industry.
Right? Saint would write a really good one
Oh
too.
my God, Saint would crush it. But Saint is too much of a sweetheart. He's not gonna do that.
Yeah,
Would
no,
he though? He might write a show that shades them. Wait, by the way, is there any update? We always jump from topic to topic, but has there been any updates about Saints BL?
Yeah, they started filming.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I haven't been following up that closely.
But me neither, to be honest. When it comes out, I'm definitely gonna support it because Saint is my baby. All right, so like Saint would write a really good tell-all book. Mew, Fluke. Who else did we say? Gun. Singto.
Singto, yeah, Singto definitely.
Singto. I would love to hear what Singto has to say because he's an intellect, and I feel like when he's writing, he would be spicy with it too.
I would feel like honestly, like I just want to know how he feels
about working with how he genuinely felt about working with Chris.
Yeah,
friend. It would stop the internet for a day. Because he's picked up for him for years. So imagine if he actually wrote a tell-all about being like, yeah, you see that bitch right there? I couldn't stand his fucking ass. And now that I'm free from the devil contract, let me tell you about this bitch ass. I would lose my mind.
Right?
Do you see the video of Nanan pushing Kristen into the pool? I lived
too. I loved it so much. I was just like...
And then everybody was making a meme about, oh, hey guys, I pushed the homophobe into the water. Like, when are they ever going to like release Chris from this shock? Well, he brought it upon himself though.
I mean, he did.
Honestly,
but I don't even know why he's in that same house.
I mean, he is a Chilean boy. He's one of their top earners. Come on, he has a solid fan base.
That's true.
Well, I saw somebody asking if he was always that ugly, and I was tempted to write from our Twitter page, yes he was, but you guys were just obsessed with the idea of boy on boy that you didn't realize. I was like, I can't write that from our page. That would have been too much of a low blow. But he's not ugly though. He's just very average. But at the time when he came into the game, female fans would have taken anything in the BL genre, so he got lucky because he would not slide today.
He really wouldn't, to be honest.
And he is not aging well.
He's not. Like, out of all the GMM TV boys that I thought would lose their looks first, I did not pick Chris.
I did not, because he had such a baby face, right? But then I would not expect that he would. I didn't expect that.
I mean, he looks older than Off.
He does, and Off looks like an old man.
He
always has. He does.
but anyway,
you feel like Singto gets like, what's it called? Botox? I think he does.
Really? I don't think so.
I think he does.
Why?
I think Singto gets Botox because his cheeks look very Botoxy.
I don't know what Botox looks like.
All right, so okay, no bother. No worry. No, but like I'm since we're speaking on maintaining looks, I feel like some of them, because plastic surgery is really huge in Asia. It's huge in Thailand too. Like everybody's getting procedures. Some of them minor, non-surgical. It's not a bad thing. I don't look down on plastic surgery, but I think he gets Botox. I'm just saying, since he was Chris' partner for all those years, you think at least he would have, if Singto is getting like cosmetic procedures, he would follow suit. Like you're here Singto looking like a fresh spring of mint, and you're looking like dry thyme. Like, what's happening?
Right? Because like now that you think about it, they all go on like on their spa days, they all get laser treatments, they all like do the work, right? Why isn't he doing it? Like, even if he's just in like het dramas now, that's still your face.
But in some sense, like, I'm not natural shaming him, because I have mad respect for anyone who's in the entertainment industry who chooses to age naturally. But at the same time though, bro, you don't have a lot of things going for you. Your personality's already questioned. No. We always try to give people pass whenever they do mostly good and there's just this one bad thing about them. But like from my point of view as a BL fan, you don't really have much going on in my eyes because your personality leaves little to be desired. Let me say it like that. Because for other people, he's not a bad person. And he's not necessarily a bad person for me. It's just, again, personality leaves little to be desired. It would make sense that he would at least try to retain his core audience by keeping up, but he doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, he doesn't.
But yeah, so Gon, Fluke, Singto, Mew. Who else did we say?
I think that was it, right?
But who else? Who else do you
Top
think?
Cat.
Top. Oh, top.
Yeah, he's been in the game a long time.
He has, but top. Yeah, you know, I don't read.
Earth.
Pirouette? Earth P? Yeah, he
Yeah.
would have a good story to tell because he could speak on delayed opportunities because Earth was really hot for a minute and then GMM TV just left him to lay by the wayside. Like if he ever gets delivered from that, I'll say it that way, he can speak on the pressures of image.
Yeah, he can.
I feel like he would be a really good neutral party to speak on the pressure to have a certain type of body and image and maintain it. I feel like he'd be a really good suit for that. Before we jump to the next topic, like this is really interesting. What's his name? He was Saint's partner in Love by Chance.
Oh, Perth?
I feel like Perth would write a good teller. He doesn't speak.
I wouldn't want to read a book of Stunt.
I wouldn't read it either. Oh my god. I mean, truth be told, I would not read it. Like, it gives me a vibe. I'm sorry. It's not a good vibe.
Yeah, no, it's not a good vibe either. I wouldn't want to read it at all.
But because he doesn't say anything.
No.
I feel like he would have good stories to tell. Like, what has he been holding on to?
I think like any of the boys. I think like any of the boys from Star Hunter, like SB5, would probably write a good one.
Copter would kill it.
Yeah, he would. He totally would. Okay.
Yeah, enough about them. Sorry. Yeah.
So now that we've gone on to beefs and like tell-alls that are never gonna happen, what are they even gonna talk about? It doesn't even matter anymore. And I'm just kidding. It does. So actually, we should. So I did want to talk about the latest episode of Bad Buddy. I know Allie is still planning to watch it until episode 10, so I don't want to give too many spoilers or just kind of ruin that experience. So I will say that, I guess kind of spoiler free or just general, is that I am enjoying the series a lot, and I am liking the pacing of it. It doesn't feel like forced. And nothing feels very rushed. And, Om and Nanan are very good together in a way that I really didn't think that they would work. But it has been working. I do even I haven't been keeping up with them off the show. But I have been seeing some of their interactions and they're very cute. And
they've always been cute together. From a friend standpoint,
yeah,
they're actual good friends. Their energy is good.
Yeah, and so there was this actually one interview that they were doing where Om was talking about if he really had a question whether he was really falling in love with Nanan. And to me, that just kind of speaks on Om's real character. And also in a way that I didn't think Nanan would respond well at all, only because I had heard things about, and I was actually, I'm going to be real honest, I've had to really rethink the ways I thought about Nanan before. And, that's what's so great about being people though, and being open-minded, is that you have an opinion and then you're presented with like new evidence and you rethink things, you know, you say like, oh, well, maybe I was wrong. You know, and that's what's so great about people sometimes. But yeah, so I just was watching like them like interact on that interview, and I was like, wow, you know, like one, it's very rare for an actor, even like especially a BL actor, to just openly just talk about this, right? And so the fact that he did it with his like best friend, like sitting there like next to him about him, you know, it just kind of speaks volumes, like to me, about, you know, just how open-minded he is, and also just how like people, and this kind of goes into like my segue, and I'm getting away from the episode, but I'll talk about that my segue a little bit later. But I just was very impressed. I've always been impressed with Om P, because like he's, for someone who entered the industry as young as he did, he was like 16.
15, baby.
15. Like he was like put into situations that I think were very unsafe for a 15-year-old to be in. But that he like kind of got through it and like, you know, persevered and, you know, is thriving. And also kind of doing like, while yes, he's with GMMTV, he's also doing it on his own terms. He's also kind of just doing things that he wants to do.
Can I just interject a small minute here? I just want to point out this very important thing, and it's something that I've spoken about before, guys. I don't know if you remember. You see, when it comes to children in the industry, you see, more than anything, they need a good support system.
Yeah, I think so too. Because, you know, and he he entered the industry when he was 15, and he was, you know, in that show, and he was a tiny baby to be doing the things that he was doing. But, you know, like he like me and Ali were saying, like he came through, and he's doing it just, you know, as he wants to, and he's also, you know, he does primarily do BLs. Like there's been very few times where he's been in like at shows. So he's really just like putting in the work, and he doesn't have to. Like at this point, he could, you know, be doing anything else, but he chooses to do this, you know. So so that's one of the things that drew me to this show, because like I was like, well, I like Om a lot. Like I've been following, you know, since he was a baby, and I want to see like what, you know, this new show is about. And I was very pleasantly surprised, not by Om, but just by the chemistry of him and Nanan just being really good friends, and like just like playing that off with each other, and just like it really translates in the show. It feels very natural. It doesn't feel forced, and I'm very glad that I gave the show a chance, because like I was like very hesitant in the beginning, but it's really good, and I'm enjoying it so far. Like I really like the relationship. I like the relationship with all the actors. I just wish like their friend group would like just get along. But that's about it. That's like, I guess my only gripe.
Wait, their friend groups don't get along? Oh, you mean in the show?
Yeah, in the show, not like,
no. Okay, so here's the twist of it. I haven't started. Well, I watched episode 1. I won't lie, I did watch episode 1, but I put the show aside and said I'm gonna pick it up because it's a part of my Reactmas. I'm gonna just have a Reactmas, and just binge it and just react to it. So I'm not watching the show now. Yes, between yesterday and today, was it yesterday? Okay, between this week, someone posted that there was an English translation of Bad Bunny that no one knew about, and it was on Kindle, because people have been killing themselves trying to find an English translation, and we could not find it, because I want to know. I was really excited for it too, because this is gonna be the first BL that I genuinely have no idea what it is about, because I haven't seen a book, I haven't seen a translation, whether in full or partially, or bits and pieces, you know. So I was really excited, but then somebody posted between sometime this week that there was an English translation on Kindle. Now I'm not watching the show because I don't want spoilers. I went and bought the book and I am like 84% in the book right now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I'm looking at the person. I've been reading since we've been talking. Multitasking queen. Um, so an ironic thing is I'm reading the book, but I'm not watching the show. Mana's watching the show, but they're not gonna read the book until after the show, and I'm not gonna watch the show until after I've read the book. It's the ironic thing. But I have good confidence because one thing I won't ruin the show for myself, because one thing I will give to GMM TV, they're infamous for not following the books to the T. They tend to switch up a lot, and based off of what I saw in episode 1 and what I've read in the book so far, I don't think they're following the same storyline. Yes, I'm gonna assume, but the series is gonna be way more fleshed out, I should say. Yeah. So I just wanted to highlight that irony. I'm reading the book, so I spoiled everything for myself, but whatever.
That's okay. You just go see it like brought to life and like have notes and stuff. But I'm just kind of, and the reason, and I don't. So I bought the book. I haven't read it as of yet, but I bought it because one, I am liking the show, but two, I also did it because I was like, it's very difficult, and like Ali said, it's very difficult to find translation, like official translation of novels, especially Thai novels. It's very hard. They do have their own app called Meb that is available for international audiences. It's not always the easiest. Sometimes it can crash. And sometimes, you have to be really careful about, what you buy, because sometimes they'll say most of the time though, I haven't had too much of a problem, but like sometimes they'll say like the book is English translated and it'll be like half. So yeah. So it's kind of like that. And so for a full novel to be in English is very rare. And so I bought it because I was like, that kind of sends a signal to whoever, in like BL land and in marketing, like, hey, people are buying this because they want to read. They want more translations. So if you get this book, it'll send a signal. Not that you have to buy it. I would never tell anybody you have to do anything. But like, if you were so inclined to get this, it'd be sending a signal to like the BL marketers that like, hey, there's an audience for this outside of Thailand. Like, why don't we translate more books so people can read them? So I that's why I was like, well, I'm just gonna get it, because it's like, that's gonna send a signal to people that like, hey, there's a demand for this. Let's supply more of it. Hopefully that'll translate. Hopefully that'll work. Because there's been some definitely novels that I would want to read, but I just haven't, because like they're just hard to find. And I'm always in the camp where I would rather support something legally than illegally, because I want people to collect checks that deserve them, that's just how I feel about it. So Bad Buddy is on Fridays on GMM TV. So check it out if you haven't. It's pretty good. It's very cute. I would recommend the show. So that is about the show that I wanted to talk about. The other thing that I wanted to discuss in the media, just kind of relating to media that we were talking about a bit earlier on in the episode, was just the fact that, and this is not like specific to Thai media. This is what happens to, celebrities or just like personalities in general, where they get asked very intrusive questions, and they get answered, or they kind of skirt it around, but then they'll ask some follow-up questions. And so the specific case, I guess, that I'm talking about did happen in Thailand. So Omti recently did an interview in a magazine where they were asking him what his ideal type was, which is a very like normal-ish question that, you know, celebrities get asked every so often, right? Like that's a question people get asked. And he answered, you know, just a generic kind of like, he said that he had a type before when he was younger, but now, you know, he wants to find someone who is comfortable, like who he feels comfortable with, who he enjoys being around, and the gender doesn't matter. That's what he says. He's been saying that for a long time, like doing these interviews. By the way, he just has a very consistent answer. And so, like, the interviewer followed up with another question, or wasn't even, followed up with another question. And it's like, oh, you mean a cute girl? He had already answered your question. You said it didn't matter. So why would you still follow up and ask if it would be a girl? What's the point of that? And being professional, answered the question again. And he said, it's like, she could be cute, or like, you know, they could be cute. Or, you know, it, like, as long as they're, you know, they don't need to change themselves, basically. And so that just goes into the question one is like, the first normal question was like, what's your ideal type? That's a very normal question that they always get asked. So then I don't see why the interviewer felt the need to put in a cute girl. He had already answered the question. And they do this all the time. They don't do that with certain actors, and we all know who, but I'm just gonna throw it out there because, like, this is my shade time. You know, they don't ask like actors like Earth, Kuhart. They don't ask people like Fluke. They don't ask, you know, they don't ask those people. They don't ask those actors what their ideal, or they do ask what their ideal type is, but they don't get with the gendered question afterwards. It's like, oh, a cute girl, right? That doesn't happen to them.
And they assume that, right, you know, it's already obvious.
Right. So
but God forbid a seemingly straight, air quotes, masculine dude, air quotes, appears in a bill. There's no way he can be freaking straight and 100% straight. He has to be fruity. And then there's no way you're just a straight boy doing this. Like, you have to be gay, or there's no way you're such a mass gay dude and you're choosing to do this. You're hiding something. It's like there's always something, like they won't let these mass guys breathe.
Yeah, or they just like, it goes into like this whole point where it's like, if if they do anything that's perceived to be gay, right? They, you know, they enjoy, you know, being like, even if like it's like all fantasy or whatever, right? It is. But like, they actually enjoy spending time with their partner, like off camera. They go and hang out, you know, like, it doesn't matter if they have a project or whatever, they just hang out, right? They don't have any lives or anything scheduled. They just hang out. Why is it that that's like too much, but then you get upset when they don't do they don't do enough, right? So it's just kind of like, choose. I mean, to me, it's like, you either kind of accept the fact that this man, who is very like, I mean, yeah, Omi is pretty manly. Like, he has a lot of tender, like, he has a lot of soft sides. Like, it's not just like he's like just a gym bro, you know, he's not. So like, why can you accept the fact that you might like somebody of the same gender, or he might not? What difference does it make, right? And so like, or who's another mask guy? There's a lot, but anyway, they like get asked these questions, and it's like, why can't you just accept the fact that they might like this dude, or they might not like this dude, or they just may really think that, hey, it really doesn't matter, even if it's just a standard answer everybody always gives, right? Like, what, shouldn't that be enough for you? Like, I don't understand this need to...
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's something that we've spoken about before. I'm not sure if you would remember, but there are lots of points to it. The first one being that it's a setup. Now, being gay in Thailand, like I will tell you, Thailand and the Philippines are the gayest countries in the goddamn world. I was gonna say in Asia, but scratch that. They are the gayest countries in the world, right? Nah, I mean, they're the gayest countries in Asia, right? A lot of people there are queer in some way, and they will tell you that themselves, right? Now, however, the reality of it is in their society, being gay or being queer, well, not necessarily queer, because queer still means weird in many parts of the world, right?
Yeah.
So let me not use that. I'm just gonna say gay, even though just know I'm speaking in general of everything. Being not necessarily being a katawai, which is a transgender or a ladyboy or anything, those have some cultural significance. That aspect has some cultural significance. I'm not referring to that. Being gay in their society is not accepted. It is insanely frowned upon. It is something that will get your ass beaten within an inch of your life. It is something that can make you lose your entire life, security, everything. It is something that people get disowned for. It is something that children will get sent out of country for as punishment, sent into deep rural boarding schools, which they're basically acting as like purification schools. It is, or they send them to monkhood. It's a lot of different factors to consider. It's something I wrote about on my old Twitter profile, and sometimes I'm mad that I deleted that crap, but it had to be done. It's a lot. There's a deep-rooted thing about it still. Like, it doesn't matter how many bills they want to do. It doesn't matter how many gay men are in their entertainment industry. They have no value in their country outside of being in entertainment. They can't hold office in any other industry without great risk to themselves. Entertainment is the safest one for them, which is why there are so many gay men in entertainment. They're the makeup artists, they're the fashion, they're the stylists, they're the managers, they're the producers, they're the directors, they're the cameramen, they are the advertisers, they are the entertainment industry, because there's no other place for them over there. This is Googleable information. So when I say it is a setup, I can't help but say it's a setup, because there's no way you living in the country that you live in, know the realities that you face, especially given the fact that some of these interviewers are gay themselves, and really sit there and ask these young men, I should say, to out themselves on not national, but on like platforms, knowing they could lose everything. Why would you do that? It's a setup. You're setting them up. And it's like a fun game to them. So that's one point. A second point is when you see interviewers, because it happens in the Western world as well, it happens in general media, especially if you have a seemingly straight man have a bromance going on screen with another character. God forbid it's a female. I remember one time back in the day, a Korean high school drama, they showed, like, it's not a high school drama, but it was based around high school. They showed two girls kissing, like they were in a relationship. Oh my God, it was hell. All hell broke loose the next day. Problems upon top of problems, but they don't have a problem with bromance. So there are certain, but they have a problem with gay. It's like there are certain boundaries you shouldn't cross, but that's not the second point that I was going to make. The second point I was going to make, it's serving self-interest. If the interviewer is attracted to this person that they're interviewing, a lot of them will step outside of themselves and professionalism to try to stir the conversation in a direction that will benefit them. So if a woman is doing an interview and, they're attracted to men and they think this is an attractive person, they're gonna try to figure out if they have a low-key chance. You know what I mean? It's a human thing. If it's a gay man, he's gonna try to find out the same information, because I want to know if, like, because fans always want to know if their fantasy, if they will be that lucky fan that, you know, falls in love with the megastar, you know, that fantasy. So they will do and ask certain questions to serve self-interest. They will also do it under the guise of trying to make an interview more spicy. No, I am in no ways defending it. I'm just saying that there are many reasons why they do this, and they're all sick. Like, I'm not saying it's not sick, it's all sick. And they do it, as Mana pointed out, to seemingly straight men that do, I'm gonna use questionable, because bromance is questionable, because it's hinting at something that isn't really there. It's queerbaiting, basically. They ask them that a lot because in their world and in their universe, there's no way this person can really be straight. They don't have any respect for that. They don't see them as being valid as whoever and whatever they are until they, or respecting their agency in being the one to independently come out and say, I am this, that, and the third, right? So it's a lot. Like, Mana is questioning why they would do that. It's a lot of things that play into it. It's also a lot of people, like I said, they would just play it off under the guise of trying to make the interview spicy. They would be like, oh, but the fans want to know. And that is true. Fans want to know. I was explaining to Mana earlier that from an audience perspective, you have to think from an audience perspective, especially if you want to survive in the entertainment industry, being as saturated as it is these days, because people have options. They will leave. If it is that what you're doing is not what they want to hear, they will leave respectfully, and they have every right to do that. They can. So they will look online and they will see what fans are asking, and some of them are very problematic, controversial, and they will ask these questions with zero care for these boys, right? And it's absolutely gross when you think about it, because did you even really take them into consideration when you thought about these questions? There's a saying that you attract more
flies with honey then.
Yeah, you attract more flies with honey. And I feel like a lot of these dudes would be way more carefree and open to answering whatever question that these people are asking if they were respectful.
Yeah, definitely.
But you're not respecting them. You're seeing them as a product versus an actual person. So they're gonna shut down. It's a trend these days for celebrities, even though back in the day before social media, we didn't know anything about celebrity lives if it didn't come in the big gossip rags or magazines or whatever. Their lives are private. In the era of social media, when your career depends on social media to stay alive, so many entertainers are choosing to not have social media, not be the one that manages their social media, to just use their social media platforms as like an advertisement portal. Because we've spoken about like their Instagrams just being like a marketplace rather than an Instagram profile.
Yeah.
So many of them are choosing to do this because people aren't learning, or people are forgetting what are boundaries.
Yeah.
So these questions, this is the last thing I'll say. These questions and these assumptions are putting these people into a position where they have no choice but to shut down. And at that point, you won't get anything from them. It's a lot of different things that play into it. And people won't learn until people disappear.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because like it's just like, why? Because they're not allowed to be who they are or who they want to be. like really against the society. And so like even if they're just like just living their life, right? Even if they're straight or gay or whatever, like they're not allowed to be, basically, because they have to fulfill a role for people. I mean, they don't have to, but you know, that's kind of what they have to do. And so you get these interviews and you're like, and you get these reporters that ask the most inappropriate questions. And it's like, how did you think that was okay to ask? And like, what did you think that they were gonna say? to be real.
You know, that's always the question I ask. Like, okay, so you had enough balls and nerve and guts to ask. You come with a lot of vim to ask this question. What did you expect the answer to be?
Exactly.
Truly,
right? Because
did you expect him to turn around and say, "Oh well, I'm home. Well, I've asked Fluke to go on 3 dates with me, but he's refused because, he doesn't want to mix business with pleasure or whatever, but I'm still trying my best." Or, my ex-boyfriend is XYZ, or my ex, do you expect these people to just come and volunteer this information to you? Whatever
right?
that information may be.
That's like,
it's like, what? Are you serious? You cannot be serious.
Oh, my favorite question that they get asked, and it's like so offensive, but like my favorite question is like, so you've taken on this BL role. Do you think it'll affect your career? Like, do you think it'll affect your chances in the future?
That's actually a valid question.
I mean, not really though.
It is, like, it's part of what I just explained. It is, which is why it's a valid question. Actually, in the Thai entertainment industry, it is a valid question. There are certain actors, like their entertainment industry is very huge. I don't think a lot of people in BL stardom realize just how huge the Thai entertainment industry. It is very huge. Okay, there are a lot of actors that you will never see them in a BL. They will never act a brother. They will never act a sister. They will never act a parent. They don't want to have anything to do with it. It's a very real thing. Like, I literally just explained it a while ago. Like, anything related to gay is a taboo. It's like you're putting a bullseye on yourself. Only a few people will do it. They won't do it, and the boys that they select for BLs are always a specific type of boys. And my thing is, that's why I'm always so two-sided when this issue comes up, with how the boys always, the topic of abandoning BLs to just try to get a hand in het dramas and stuff like that. I do hold another opinion to that. I get why they feel the way that they feel, because it's already hard enough to break into their entertainment industry, and then you're telling me, you're gonna look me in my face and you're gonna tell me that you are in a boys love series. There is footage out there of you kissing men, and you expect me to put you in a show for a primarily conservative country to see you? You will never get that chance. A lot of them never get a chance. It's actually a valid question. Not everybody can transition from BL to a regular Lacorn. That's why when so much of them get the popularity that they get in BLs, they fight tooth and nail to leave that identity behind them, because they're trying to break into the industry over there, and they're never gonna get the chance with that image attached to them, with that history attached to them. It's a very valid question, actually. It's impractical from it's disrespectful from our standpoint, because if it were an American actor being asked that question, it would be dumb as fuck. Because logically, we know it will not affect if anything, a straight person playing a gay character in a show right now is a plus for their career, especially if they've proven themselves as a good ally.
And not only that, people used to call them brave for doing it.
Right, but no, it's kind of like, if you don't do it, there's something wrong with you. Like, you're sus. Like, you're not on our side. You're done. but that's our entertainment industry, and I want to relate this back to Usu, when everybody made a huge kicked up this huge fuss about his Instagram exchange with his friend, right?
Yes.
I wanted to, and what I remember what I said to you, what Usu's doing or what he's done is unprecedented in the Korean industry. He's been in not one, not two, not three, but 4 BLs. As a man that has a whole ass career for industry standard Korean dramas, like he has a resume. He's been in not one, not two, not three, but 4 BLs. Being gay or being queer is something that majority of people in Korea think is a work of fiction. Like it doesn't exist. And that's just not my opinion, that is facts. You can go online. It's there. The information is there from Koreans, by Koreans, for Koreans. Korean people, as a general, don't think that being gay is a real thing. They think it's this made-up term that young people are using to rebel. So as a known person in the entertainment industry, what he did was unprecedented. So his friend asking the question like, oh my God, again, and him laughing it off, I didn't see a problem with it. Because if there was really a problem, and based off of his in the interviews that he's done in the past and the things that he said, that's his coping mechanism. What is he going to do? Drop everybody that he knows? He can't do that in the society that he lives in. Because while to us on our side of the universe, this is a very normal thing, it's an accepted thing, and we can advocate and scream and, you know, do our little social media protests or whatever that it should be, while the truth is some countries are not as progressive. They're not there yet. And a lot of these people literally put their careers on the line, because you do have a lot of homophobic executives, a lot of homophobic this, that, and the third, and you do have queer people in these spaces that have internalized homophobia as well. So it's actually a valid question. To them, to us, it's crap, but to them, it's a valid question.
Actually, you bring up a good point, and I hadn't really thought of it, but about it on that side of things, right? Because I just see like my visceral reaction to like, you're rude as fuck. Like,
and they are, because like, even though it is not the norm over there, it should be, you know, and we can always still strive and advocate for these things. But sometimes I believe as people, you see, when it comes to certain topics like age difference or whatever, like, you know, with this whole 17 26 nonsense, just using a topic like that as example, you can't convince me that that's a cultural thing. Like, I get that in some cultures there's still like child brides and this, that, and the third, but it's well known that these things are not good. Like, even in the cultures that they're being practiced, it's not good, it's not safe, it's not healthy. So you can't convince me that a cultural thing makes you do this. That's stupid, because even in your own culture, it's seen as problematic. People are advocating against it, so you are aware. But you see, when it comes to certain topics like this one that we're discussing, we really do have to check how we react to certain things. Because in our interview with Patrick, you notice that he's a gay man. He's gay. He's freaking gay. He holds position in society. He's openly gay, and he's a doctor, right? He's not just anybody.
Right.
We have a problem with the whole, oh, I don't like men, I just like you thing.
Right.
And he, as a gay man, didn't have a problem with it, because we think 2 different ways.
Yeah.
So certain things that we see in these shows that they continue to do, they're cultural things. It's because of how they're raised to think in their society, and we can't really fix our mouths to say certain things about how people's cultures. Like, we can always speak about it and be like, yeah, that's obviously wrong. But we also have to speak with the understanding to know that while I know this is wrong, and while I know that this, that, and the third, at the same time, this is what it is for them.
Right.
I may not like it, but I have to understand where they're like. We've said this already tonight. There's not everything. I'm not going to agree or understand everything, but at the end of the day, some things you just have to respect.
Right.
Because
right.
it matters to somebody.
Right. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I didn't, like I said, like I hadn't thought about it before because it was like it just always sounds really good. And it is,
That's
but
okay.
But at the same time, it's like there's a reason, you know, behind that. So I just wanted to end the show, just to kind of like, I don't, you know, me and Allie, we don't like to get political on the podcast because it's not about that. But I did want to just
are you sure
that we don't get political?
Are you sure?
I mean,
are you sure we get very political?
So this is actually really important. I kind of wanted to talk about. So if you've been following Thai media at all, if you've been following the BL landscape, you know that Thailand has been struggling to get legalized marriage passed for gay people, or for, you know, LGBTQA people. Today, the council, their government just ruled that in the Constitution, it is constitutional to have marriage just between a man and a woman. So that happened today.
So they ruled that they're not gonna do the same-sex marriage thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's pretty. Yeah. Wow. Wait, what? Wow. Wait, sorry. Wait, I thought I was listening. You know, like when you're listening to hear something, so it's like you pre-tell yourself that's what you hear, but that's not what you said. They did what? Yeah.
So there's been a couple of like big kind of like names advocating for same-sex marriage. Max and Thule, Cal, Boone has been posting up. He's been very he's been very outspoken. I'm not here to drag anybody or who hasn't or who has. Like, I think it's great, like, when they use their platforms, you know, to do these things. And I'm choosing to use my platform, our platform, to speak on this at this time, because for a country that, and you know, me and Allie, we say and we know, like, it's not, you know, there's still a lot of like homophobia in Thailand, in a lot of Asian countries, and I'm not from Thailand. I don't want to overgeneralize. I do want to say, for a country that exports a lot of BL content, a lot of gay content, they're sending the wrong message to the world, and to their own people, because everyone deserves, and I really believe this, everyone deserves to have an equal footing in their society. You know, everyone deserves to. And it's not just about, you know, getting married to the person you love. It has to do with that, but it also has to do with the rights that you get from being married.
Insurance security, estate security, inheritance security, being able to adopt, medical security, because in a lot of countries, if you're not legally married, you are not seen as a spouse, and if you are not related by blood, you cannot be the next of kin, you cannot be the guardian, they are not going to release that person into your care, you cannot sign off on any medical documents, you cannot wow, that is wow. Yeah. Oh, wait, my mind is blown. Wow.
Yeah. So it's not just about marrying the person that you love. It's mostly to do with that, but it's also having to do with the rights that you get from being married, because you do and get a lot of rights when you get married to somebody. It's kind of crazy to me. I don't think it should be that way, because that's very that's just very just normative, like talk about.
You know what's really sick? You know what makes me really, really, really sad, and it's a really sick concept, and I hate to be the one that does it. as the black one on the podcast. But these things, these ideas, these gender constructs and these gender norms and these gender related rules and ceremonies and stuff like that never existed prior to colonization, prior to Europeans deciding that they would just wanted to screw everybody over. And it's amazing to me just how well they've managed to infiltrate every culture on the face of this earth. They've killed off, they've slaughtered, they've gotten rid of religions, they've gotten rid of certain types of people, certain races of people that will never walk this earth again, killed them all off, mass genocide. They have wiped out cultural practices. They have erased languages, writings. They have stolen from the land, pillaged. Like, you will see historical land sites in Africa, and like you can obviously tell that like there's a artwork that has a series of something, and there's a portion of it missing. Best believe it's sitting in a museum in England.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Right.
If England was forced to give back all of its like artifacts, all of its like, maybe not all of its paintings, but all of its artifacts for sure, it'd be freaking empty.
It'd be empty. The crown would have nothing if the but the point I'm trying to say is it's always I always get so, it always breaks my heart to see how it's still plaguing every single society to this day. Like, the white man succeeded, they succeeded. They've ruined everything. And if you are white and you're listening to this, it is what it is. Feel away. Your ancestors were shite, and I don't care. They have ruined everybody's life. The mere fact that, I mean, every culture had, cultural pressure and whatnot, and what they deemed unacceptable. But you see the concept of like sex, sexuality, men being the head of like patriarchy, misogyny. Those things are white people shit. They're white people shit. Abandonment of child, white people shit. I don't know any race of people on the face of this earth quicker to send their child away for bad behavior or something, even when they're just lashing out. Like, children lash out because they don't want to have to deal with it quicker than a white person. And you want to know how I know that I can say that without 100? Because it plays back into their lives when they're old and they get put into nursing homes. Because the expectation of an old white person is that their child will take care of them. You kind of didn't treat that child right, so now you're getting put into a nursing home. There are more white people in nursing homes than you will find any other races on the face of this earth. Especially, well, let me say the Western world, because I really don't know about the Eastern world. So what I'm trying to say is, it's disheartening for me, for Thailand, being as influential as it is in the LGBTQIA plus space. As we said earlier, it's like literally, it and the Philippines are literally the gayest countries in Thailand. The mere fact that the white man's rule or the white man's concept of sex and sexuality and what constitutes a family is making them forget who they actually are. Breaks my heart, actually.
Yeah, it is really disheartening. But I want, anybody from Thailand who's listening, or any other country that doesn't have marriage equality, like, I want you to know, and this is just coming from the other side of the world, is like, I want you to know that your queer brothers and sisters like around the world are just fighting with you. While we can't, go march on the streets with you, we can definitely use I use my platform anytime I see anything come up like for the LGBTQA community. I always am on my Twitter page, just advocating, just trying to make just general noise. And same thing, because I generally believe that we have a right to exist, and that we have a right to, the same rights as everybody else. It doesn't matter, because we're all human at the end of the day. So, don't give up. I know it's very hard. I know it's very disheartening today. That's probably, everybody's a little disappointed, but it's gonna be a struggle. And even here in the US, like when people were fighting for their marriage equality, it was a difficult slog. Like, it wasn't easy. It didn't come overnight. People fought for years and years, like through the AIDS crisis, through getting gay rights. So it's possible, and it unfortunately doesn't happen overnight. But hopefully, this doesn't make you quit that fight, because it's definitely just fight for it, and eventually it'll happen. I definitely believe that. So I just wanted to just end the show today with that, because I didn't want to just like gloss over it. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Keep fighting, keep going for that dream, and eventually it'll happen. I definitely believe that. But yeah, I'm with you, Tyler. This is gonna happen for you. Allie, did you want to say anything?
There's this quote by Marcus Garvey that I really like, and I will apply it here. A people without knowledge of their history is like a tree without roots. You see, as long as you know who you are and you live as honestly as you possibly can, your efforts will never be in vain. You may not see it in your lifetime, but your fight will yield the fruit. Well, the fruit of your labor will always yield. The land gives. You will have seasons of drought, and you might not be here when the fruitful seasons come, but generations after you will benefit from the hard work that you put in. So though it might seem as if you took an L today, Rome wasn't built in a day, wars weren't won in a day. Things take time. Again, as long as you know who you are and you live as honestly as you possibly can, your efforts will never and can never be in vain. Always remember that.
And so with that beautiful note, we're going to go ahead and end the show. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your support. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.